Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Candy Show. I'm your host, Candy. We are here in my hometown, Indianapolis, Indiana, and I have a returning guest. Now, the couple of times he's been on, I almost, not almost, but I did kind of mess up his name. But today I'm like, I'm doing it. Guys, I want you to welcome my returning guest, recording artist, Mr. Darnell Junior.
Thank you. How you been?
I've been fine. How are you?
I've been good. I've been staying busy. Just trying to stay busy as possible.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that. You were here on the Game Show a couple times. We did a virtual during pandemic.
Yes.
Okay, and you were talking a little bit about what was going on in your personal life and the music that you getting ready to put out. I need you to catch me up. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what's been going on.
Well, last time we spoke during the pandemic, I was actually releasing my last album, Truth or Dare, and I was actually in a relationship during that time. A lot's changed since then. Since our last meeting, I actually just released another album, Cowboy Crazy. I released that a couple weeks ago. It's doing very well.
Okay, well, let me say, wait a minute, it's the cover that's got me. It's the cover. But okay, go ahead, finish, go ahead.
Yeah, that cover, that was very, I want to do something very daring. I want to give a little androgyny, a little David Bowie, a little Prince, try something different, be a little sexy. Because a lot of people aren't used to seeing me in that light. A lot of people are seeing me fully covered up, and I'm normally more daring and bold in my music lyrically, but not visually. So I want to give something a little bit different this time around. So since our last meeting, I was working on this album as well as I was going through my relationship, and then I got secretly engaged. I did, and then things went horribly wrong.
I was about to say congratulations, but I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it went horribly wrong, so I'm no longer engaged. I went through a lot. I went through some deep, dark depression. I went through some substance things in terms of like drinking and smoking a lot. I went through a brief period of homelessness as a result of the relationship breaking up. Because we were engaged to be married and we were going to move to New York together. So I had already given up my apartment and my car here and started moving things to New York. And then he decided to just say, I don't love you anymore. I'd rather be with someone else, and it is what it is. So I was pretty much left. So that was another reason that it took so long for me to finish recording this album, because I had to get certain things back in order for myself. So I went through that.
Hold on. Because, okay, you guys may not be able to see this, but, just the things that you just said to me, you see me, right? You see me. This is, number one, it's shocking. And number two, I'm over here, I'm literally about to start crying. Because I would have never thought this is something that you would have went through.
Yeah.
You know I follow you on social media. So I know a little bit about, some of the things that you put out on social.
Yeah.
But let's go back. I think it was 2021 or 2022 that we last talked.
2021.
2021. Where were you at then in your mind frame with the music and then with everything that was going on personally? Because I think you were talking about, you had to talk about some mental concerns that you were having. Where are you at with that? Are you okay? How are you doing with that?
I'm okay. Back then, I was actually, I don't want to say I was in a better place, I was in a different place. Back then, I was very much happy and very much in love in my relationship. Everything was still very new and everything was still very peaceful. Things hadn't gone bad yet, and then I was still very happy about the album I was coming out with. But I was doing my own personal things, because I've dealt with depression and anxiety for years, ever since I was 17 years old. So that was nothing new to me. I was just learning to fully cope with it. And then after, as the relationship went on, I just started learning more about myself and doing therapy. And then over the course of the past couple of years, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. So pretty much symptoms of that are depression, anxiety, feelings of loneliness and emptiness, substance abuse, promiscuity, deep feelings of abandonment and being misunderstood, the need for attention or affection from time to time, sporadic mood swings.
Well, I have to bring a little light to that because a lot of us, especially women, you know, but at the end of the day, a lot of us deal with that. So could you kind of say we all have that? Tell me, what is it that specifically, why did they diagnose you with BPD, right?
BPS, well, BPD, borderline personality disorder. I would say it was the frequency and the intensity of it, because like on a daily basis, I feel lonely. Daily, I feel depressed. There are some days it is an act of God and positive self-talk in order to get out of bed. Also, I was also on a lot of medications at that time. At one point, I was taking 7 pills a day just to function, just to avoid crying and jump of a head, just to avoid just feeling like I just felt horrible. And then what says that I couldn't explain it all the time. I knew I had some personal issues from my past and childhood trauma that I had to deal with, but I didn't realize that what I was going through in that relationship was also triggering me, making me worse. And this individual that I was with knew that and exploited it. So a lot of triggers were done intentionally. So just the frequency and intensity of everything, and it would be random. Some days I would literally wake up and immediately start crying just because I woke up. Or I'll wake up and I immediately go into a full-blown panic attack and start shaking and crying uncontrollably and not being able to explain why. So that's definitely why they diagnosed me with it, because it happened so much and so often and it was so heavy.
Now, are you on any medications right now? Because I believe I've heard, in our last conversation you weren't.
No, I didn't start the medication until after our last conversation because it hadn't gotten that bad.
Okay.
Right now I'm on medication. It's been a journey, and sometimes I teeter, sometimes I have to be on it, sometimes I don't. Lately I've been okay. I've been definitely going to therapy every week. That's definitely been helping. Prayer definitely helps. Trying to focus on positive self-talk and trying to channel everything into my music. Because honestly, music, prayer, therapy has definitely saved my life. And also having, certain people in my circle, certain friends and family members that actually understand me and care enough about me to, check on me, make sure I got out of the house, just to call or text me, just to make sure I'm okay, that definitely helped.
So with that element of that trigger out of your life now, so do you feel like, with that being said, can you still keep yourself off of medication? Because a lot of times it's the trigger, whatever our triggers are, that causes us. And sometimes once that trigger is omitted from our life, it's a whole totally different world. We feel totally different.
Absolutely. As of right now, yes, I can never stay out of medication. I will say monitoring my exposure to social media has also helped as well, because during the past 2 years, I took a lot of hiatus. I disappeared a lot. One being, I disappeared during the homeless phase, or at least during most of it, because one, I felt very embarrassed, I was ashamed, and I felt very foolish because I honestly say I lost everything because of love. I gave everything because of love. When you are in a relationship and you can honestly say that you walked away from that relationship with absolutely nothing, like material-wise, mentally, physically, spiritually, and you drained yourself and you gave everything to that other person, to that relationship, and were left with absolutely nothing for yourself, it is very heartbreaking and difficult to come to terms with, especially when I didn't get the support that I wanted from most of my close family. It was more so my friends and people that I work with creatively that uplifted me during that time. Family-wise, I was very much judged and ostracized, and they were very much happy that I went through it.
Well, you were talking previously before about having the not so great family support with everything that's going on, because you are an openly gay
Absolutely.
gentleman. So tell me a little bit about that also, because your music reflects everything that you've been going through. Tell me a little bit about that, because you had POG out and you had great success with that.
Yes, thank you.
Anytime you're welcome, tell me a little bit about what your mark is on Indianapolis, because I know you probably put it out there, what your accomplishment is here in Indianapolis specifically.
Yes, here in Indianapolis, I became the first openly gay male RnB artist. And to this day, I'm still the only one that is still representing us. With that being said, it definitely can be lonely. It's definitely a misunderstood journey. It's definitely a journey that's taken for granted and sometimes ostracized by people, because when I tell people that, certain things I have to deal with, other male artists don't, they think, oh yeah, whatever, or you just try to be seen. No, it's true. When I say that there are certain venues I can't perform at, I mean that. When I say that there are certain festivals and certain people that don't allow me on their shows, I mean that. When I say that I get ignored by a majority of the awards and things that acknowledge artists in Indiana, I mean that. It's not that I'm trying to be seen or I'm trying to get attention or make a victim or martyr of myself. It's literally the truth. And people don't understand that. People think, oh, you're just doing this to hype your career. No, that's not what it is. I have to get support from social media and outside of Indiana in order for my numbers to be what they are, in order for me to have the success that I've had, because the support is not here in Indiana for me, unfortunately.
I don't know if you noticed or not, but I've talked about the lack of support here in Indianapolis, regardless of what your lifestyle is. So I do understand that. I can also see where there's an extra layer of lack of support.
Oh yeah. My family does not support me. My mom was I love my mom and dad, but she was very shocked that people supported me being gay. She was like, so people know you're gay? And I said, yeah. She's like, and they actually still listen to you? I'm like, yes. Okay.
Indianapolis Artist Darnell Junior. And we were talking about the lack of Indianapolis support, and we were talking about how when you were going through your moments, your family was saying, great, I'm glad you're going through it, but at the same time you were talking about the lack of Indianapolis support that you were having here, and how there are venues that don't want you to perform. Because we were talking about POG and how you're openly gay, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
POG, because that's
for the gays.
And you're a little different than anyone else.
Right.
It's just that what you do behind closed doors is different than some people.
Right.
You're still pursuing a music career. So, why? Why is there a big deal? Why is there a big difference, in your opinion?
I honestly wish I could truly answer that. I don't know why it's a big difference, other than the fact that I am different. Especially, a lot of the pushback comes from the Black community, obviously, Black men, unfortunately. If they feel threatened or feel uncomfortable, then they see you as a problem. Now, granted, not all Black men are like that. Not everybody in the music scene has been that way towards me, but a great deal have. And I've said this over the course of the years, and it has not changed. And even people get out of pocket on Facebook sometimes. That's one of the reasons why I take some hiatus from time to time. Because one person was like, well, if you don't like how you're treated in Indiana, why don't you go somewhere where you're acceptable? Like San Francisco or Atlanta. Why should I have to leave and go where I'm quote acceptable to be accepted or to try to make a name for myself? Yes, I have considered going to Atlanta, and I don't intend on leaving Indiana because there's not much more left for me here. But the problem is that I feel like that's an unfair thing to say to someone who's trying to build a name for themselves, to build a career for themselves, just because you don't like them or you don't understand them or you don't want to relate to them anyway. Because I have to say, all my music is not about being gay or about being a gay man. I talk about gay issues. I talk about issues that men face. I talk about human universal issues. I would say if we look at my entire catalog of music, I would probably say maybe 40% of it specifies being gay.
You know what, I thank you so much for bringing that in, because that was gonna be something I was gonna talk about because of your catalog. And I've said this before, this is one of the things that I really enjoy about listening to your music. Because, and you write your own material. See, the thing is that, I've said this before, the versatility in your lyrics and your content, I can never, even though I know who you are, but I can never know if you're seeing it from your perspective, if you're seeing it from others' perspectives and women's perspectives, because the content is so universal. It's across the board. Everybody feels it, you know, and you have a few songs right now on your current album, project, EP, you know, there's a lot of people like to say that, you know. But there's this one song, and you don't have to say it, but you're talking about someone not gaining love, not only they don't love themselves, but you don't love them. You can't give them the love that they need. She can't give him the love that he needs, and he couldn't give him the love that he needs.
You're talking about Throw.
Yes. I mean, let's go ahead and talk about that, because the titles of your songs are wild.
Throw is, I would say, probably one of my most heartbreaking songs, because when I wrote that song, I was talking to myself. I wrote that song that's probably one of the oldest songs on the project. Yes, I recorded it recently, but I wrote that song when I was in college. I was still very much in the closet at that time. I wrote that song telling myself, you hate yourself. And you're searching for love from everybody that you're not getting it. And you're looking in the mirror and you can't even love yourself right now. And also, one thing that I did, I made sure that I hid it intentionally, but people that actually dive deep into my ad-libs, towards the end of the song, you would hear me say in the ad-lib, I don't love me. And I feel like it was very important to do that and show the dramatic side, but also the pain of it, because I went through that for a long period of time now, loving myself. When I was closeted, even after coming out as gay, because when you come out, yes, the burden is lifted off you, but you still have to deal with how the world's gonna treat you. You still have to deal with how your family's gonna treat you, and how you're gonna treat yourself or allow yourself to be treated. A lot of things I've gone through because I pursued love. I was pursuing companionship, things that I feel like I'm entitled to like everyone else, but people don't feel that I am. And then unfortunately, people in my own community, we are so divided, and we treat each other like crap, like pieces of meat, and we treat each other like commodities to be used for personal gain. It's like we're only damaging each other. So I feel the need to speak on that and speak on the damage that I was going through.
Let's talk about the entire album. Now, once again, let everybody know what it's called.
Yes, my new album is called Boy Crazy.
Okay, and on the cover, the red. I mean, first of all, I like the photo.
Thank you. I love it too.
I love it. I mean, they gave me daring, they gave me risque, they gave me this is who I am.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Is that what you were trying to?
Absolutely, and I also want to exaggerate a bit, because obviously this is how I am normally. I'm very chill. I like sweats and like t-shirts and like jeans. I don't wear heels on a normal basis. I wear makeup on a normal basis. It's more so for fun entertainment. And plus, I did get a few of my gay followers. They did ask me, they were like, well, okay, well, you do represent us, but can you give us a little bit more? Like, some of us do like wearing makeup, some of us do like wearing heels, like, can you relate to us in that way? Yeah, like give us a little bit of that. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. But yeah, Boy Crazy, the title itself is a double entendre, it has a double meaning. That if you listen to the entire album from start to finish, you hear the meaning twice. One, it speaks about my desire for love and companionship and my pursuit of it in my last relationship. And actually what I've gone through in the past 4 years in terms of dating and dealing with men, and how I chased love, and often it was unrequited, and often abused or abandoned. So you know how they used to say, oh, you boy crazy, you girl crazy. So kind of like the act of pursuing it vigorously without stopping. So there's that, and then also showing how, as a result of my last relationship, and the result of the damage that I've endured, can drive you crazy. How love, or when love turns sour, or the lack of love, or when love isn't correct, can make you go crazy. Because that's exactly what happened. My last relationship, it was beautiful. It was very beautiful. I was very, very happy. And unfortunately, you have to watch who you fall in love with, because when you have personal issues and you open up yourself up to other people that have personal issues of their own, sometimes they use you, sometimes they prey on that. And that's exactly what happened. I got preyed on. And my ex, he pretty much used me for everything that he could, and used me to mourn who he called his true soulmate. So I was pretty much a place filler. And once he realized he didn't really love me, he literally threw me away. And the abuse of that, because it was a lot of emotional, mental abuse.
You did speak on your album. Let's talk about that. How much of that particular album is your personal experience?
All of it.
Okay, because I noticed there's a lot of darkness this time versus the previous EPs and albums and things like that.
Yeah, this album directly reflects my last 2 years.
Okay, so is any of that material in there anyone outside of that, or is it all about you and what you dealt with?
Everything on the album is when I went through, what I dealt with, either with my ex or prior romantic interest within that time frame. The last 2 years, it was just my ex, but I also certain emotional songs, like for example, like Visible, or like there are certain songs on the album that I might reference, like people that I used to care about in the past, or I used to like be in love with in the past. But the bulk of it was my last relationship.
Oh, and that last relationship took you through some things, because there are some things on there that's like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what you felt. It's you know what I mean. And a lot of us end up sometimes when they're hurt in a relationship, we feel those things.
Yeah, I felt everything, and I did not want to. That presented a lot of problems for me, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Like I felt so much at once, and it was so intense, to where, like I told you, I was on medication, but then also I started experimenting with substances. I was drinking all day, every day. I was doing edibles. I even experimented with shrooms a few times, just to not feel anything. Even got to the point where I remember I caught a cold, and I had a cough for like 3 months, a serious cough for 3 months, even after the cold was over with. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, "How much are you drinking?" And I'm like, "A decent amount." And he said, "Well, you're gonna have to either slow down or risk never singing again, because you drank so much that you built up so much acid in your stomach that it's rising and hitting your vocal cords.
Wow. So
you may not be able to sing or talk again if you continue this." So I had to go on a diet and cut down on the drinking, and then only then was I able to finish recording the album, because when I was going through this, I would record and I would end up tasting blood.
What?
Yeah, it was bad. I wasn't even able to hit the simplest of notes when I was going through this. And I don't know if you could tell, but and quite a few people have told me that there's a difference in my voice on this album versus my previous works. My voice has changed in octaves. My falsetto has gotten better, but also when you hear me singing my normal tone, it's gotten deeper and raspier, which I don't mind. It adds more character and more dimensions to my voice. But I didn't realize how much what I was going through and what I was dealing with would affect my voice in that regard.
Isn't it so crazy? Because when you go through things, you don't really realize how the effect it has on your life. And especially with you pursuing a singing or performing type of career.
Yes.
You have to take care of not only you, but your voice as well. That's how you're going to make your money.
Exactly.
But they're not there. When I first heard it, I was like, this is dark, but no matter what, that's a reflection of everything that you were going through.
Yeah.
Now, you know me, I'm a dancer, so I didn't find too many cuts on there that were dancing club vibe.
Yeah, and the ones that are on there, I had to force myself to do those because when I first, the original concept of the album was called Love's Rebellion. That was the original title of the album, and that was originally just gonna be a straight breakup album, all dark. And when I was recording it, it was draining. I was already upset and depressed, and then I'm like, okay, listen to this back. If I'm drained listening to it, I'm not gonna want to sing it. It's not gonna want, and the people listening to it, they're not gonna want to hear it. So I had to go back, and that's where you get Her Nightmare. That's where you get Poppers. That's where you get Histrionic, the more up-tempo songs, because I had to go back and tweak it and make the album a bit more balanced in a sense. And then I just wanted to make it more palatable because sometimes too much darkness is just too much.
It really is. It really is. And I'm glad you mentioned it. Histrionic. How do you come up with that? Because I'm educating. How did you come up with that word?
It's an actual a psychology word. I was reading a psychology book once, and it actually is a mental disorder. It is histrionic is a personality disorder that I thought I had. And you know how we are when we read books. Sometimes we try to self-diagnose.
Yes.
And honestly, it's very similar to BPS, to be honest. Histrionic focuses more so on the behavior, and also in the lyrics actually tell you what it means. It's pretty much me saying, since I wanted to be loved so much, I was there. Like I want to do any and everything for it. When a person has a histrionic disorder, they are pretty much a lot more accessible. They have they're more promiscuous. They view all their relationships as closer than what they are. They have a distorted sense of self, a distorted sense of what they mean to other people or what they should mean to other people. And things are a lot more dramatic for them in terms of the connections that they have with people.
Okay. So, with that being said, now that was, first of all, hey, this is the day I learned something else new. Because we need to learn something new on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Keep your ears and eyes open, you will see and you will hear new things. Well, let's talk a little bit about how long has your Boy Crazy been out? Tell me about the numbers. I know I've seen you put some good things out there, so let everyone know.
Yeah, so it came out on November 10th. I made the mistake of releasing my album the exact same day Chris Brown did.
But how do you know that though? How did you know that was the day?
I didn't know that he was coming out that same day. I knew it would be like that, like in November, but I wasn't paying attention that way. I just knew that I needed to get the album out there because I was sitting on it for so long. The album had been finished in terms of recording. I finished the album, 7 months ago.
Oh, wow.
And I just been sitting on it because I was trying to get things in order. I was trying to get things in order for the photo shoot and then get myself mentally together to be able to present this because honestly, this project scared the hell out of me. Because even though I was going through it and I needed to get it out, it was more so a therapy session for me and a cry for help to a degree. I wasn't for sure how people would accept it because like you previously said, most of my past work is more up-tempo and has more happier or more attitudinal stuff. This time was a lot darker. Most people don't receive that well if it's a drastic change from what their artist is used to. So I was very nervous about that. But I'm very, very thankful and grateful that people are receiving it well. Right now I'm at over 146,000 streams on Spotify.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Come on now.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for that. Poppers is doing extremely well. That's the most successful single on the album. It's over 40,000 streams. Insecure is doing very well. People have definitely reached out saying that the songs that I wrote actually do resonate with them. And surprisingly, a lot of people be surprised. Straight men have reached out to me and said some of the songs actually resonate with them more. Being like songs like Insecure or even Throw, like certain things I say in that song. Visible, wanting to, be loved by someone who doesn't pay attention to you or doesn't care about you. And like the struggle with unrequited love, a lot of people deal with these things. And I knew, but I didn't realize how much of an impact it would have. So I'm very, very grateful and thankful for that. So apparently I did my job.
And see, that was the next question I was actually going to ask you because of the demand of your music.
Mm-hmm.
What does it say to you? But you already answered that question.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people are in these same situations, and people need something to go to be their therapeutic.
Yes.
Item. So that's a good thing. Going forward, what would you like to see? What's the direction you like to see your music going in?
I would definitely want to continue to evolve and grow as an artist because one thing that I make a conscious effort to do is make sure that every project that I release sounds completely different from the previous. So I want to continue to grow sonically, vocally, lyrically. The funny thing is, I do intend on starting to work on another project within the next month or so because I can't sit still. I love music, and now that this project is released, a lot has been lifted off of me. So I am feeling a bit happier now. I still have my days, and it's definitely still a struggle sometimes, but it's not. I'm not where I was, so I'm thankful God for that. And I want to have more fun. I want to, get back to the emotional part where I was prior to this era. Because in prior music, it was more fun doing music. It was more, lively. I was just living life and just writing the experiences as I go, or documenting other people's experiences as I witnessed them. I want to continue to do that and not focus on my personal darkness since I feel like I've got a majority of it out.
Well, that's a good thing too because you don't want to stay in that spot.
Yes.
That sometimes does more harm than it does good.
Absolutely.
And then, like you said, thank you, God, because He brought you out of this state, and now you know how to go forward into relationships and what you will and will not deal with, and what you will and will not look for, and what you will and will not want.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, a lot of us, let's be honest, if you're at this age by now, you have been through some stuff. Everybody has been through something.
Yes, absolutely.
There is not, I'm sure that there's not, I'm going to be honest, I don't speak for everybody.
Right.
But if you have not been on this earth as long as we have, and you have not had a bad relationship, ooh, well, I guess that's extra blessed.
Yeah.
Or just keep living in something.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that's blessed, only because there's a blessing in the lessons that you learn from the heartbreak and the damage. And the crazy thing is, before I went through this, I had little things here and there, like little romantic situations, but nothing serious. This was the most serious relationship I've ever been in. Like I said, I was engaged and I was planning to spend my life with someone. And I had to learn a lot about myself and a lot about the world because I had experience with serious relationships like that. This is only my second very serious relationship I've ever been in. Not to mention, you have to learn. I had to learn more about myself and learn about the world and learn about how spiritual warfare works. Because my ex, to me, and to this day, and I still struggle with this, to me, he's still the most beautiful man on the face of the earth. Like, I could have built him. Like, if I, you remember Build-A-Bear Workshop? If I could have built a man, it would have been my ex. But that was also a problem because God knows who you want and Satan knows who you want as well. And what I did was I made a list of, because I've seen the movies, I've seen women do it, make a list of who you want in a man. I did that and my therapist told me to do it. But what I did not cover was what I did not want. So I covered all of the quality traits and physical traits of everything that I wanted and prayed over it. And I got it, but I didn't cover the darkness of it. I didn't cover that I didn't want my partner to be promiscuous. I didn't cover that I didn't want my partner to be involved in different types of drugs. I didn't cover that I didn't want my partner to do OnlyFans. I didn't cover that my partner would be mentally, emotionally abusive to me whenever he felt like he could. I didn't cover those things.
I see. We're being blinded by the things that we want and then not really level up and really seeing what reality is because no one is perfect.
Exactly.
You can't find one person that's gonna fulfill everything and then not have a bad side to them or something that's just not, what you may not really want.
Exactly, and that's pretty much what it was. It was like things were beautiful, and then they went completely bad because it's an old saying. I know my mom has said it to me a few times. Satan can only wear a mask for so long, And like that's what happened. And I just had to learn. I feel like I'm very grateful that I went through these experiences, though it was very, very difficult, very, very hard, the hardest time of my entire life. I definitely would not relive it or wish it on anybody. But I am thankful to God that I learned the lessons. I got some great music out of it, and sitting here right now, I can honestly say that God has given me back everything that I lost. I got a place to stay, I got a new car, I have a better paying job, I have more peace of mind, I'm not on medication anymore, I'm not having panic attacks every day, I don't regret waking up every day, I don't I don't see my existence revolving around this relationship with this person. I don't see this person as my last shot at love and happiness anymore. Um, I'm very grateful that I'm not in that space. And it definitely is work staying out of that space, especially with during the holiday season and like our anniversary coming up from when we like first got together and everything. And then obviously fall is cuffing season, so I tend to back off social media because people love to announce engagements and everything. And I'm like, oh Lord.
But see, that's a growth though. It's a growth process. You have to grow. It's no different than maybe seeing an ex or whatever the case may be. In the very beginning, you don't want to see that ex with someone. But then it's like as you grow and life continues to go on, it just starts dropping off of you. Be like, you know what? I'm happy for him. You know what I mean? I'm good. I'm like that. And that's just growth, individual growth. Okay, so I know we could be talking all day long. Listen. Let everyone know where they can purchase or download or stream Boy Crazy and any of your other prior music.
Yes, so just search Darnell Junior, you spell out Junior. I can be found on all music platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon Music, Pandora, anywhere. And that's Boy Crazy, my most recent album that I just dropped, and all my previous works as well.
Okay, well, once again, also let them know how they can actually follow you on your journey. Because you know what? We're put in positions to help others. That's what I believe. So it sounds like in the future, I don't know how soon, you might want to maybe speak to some people, do a little bit of advocacy, and maybe just tell your testimony to some people.
That's a good idea. I thought about doing like vlogs possibly. I thought about doing that. I need to flesh out how much I want to do or like what all I want to cover. But I actually have thought about that. I just didn't. I'm just trying to figure out an avenue on how to execute it.
And you know what? He'll give you that avenue. He'll let you know when it's your time to do that too. Because you still listen. We're not all perfect. But it's like getting through something and being able to release that and being able to share that with others, as you are doing right here, right now on the show. Because you never know who's listening, who might need that extra. If he got through it and I got through it, you're my inspiration. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So I was gonna say, let them know how they can follow you on your journey. What social media would you like them to follow you on?
Yes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darnell Forever. Also on Facebook as well, Darnell Junior. That's my main social media. I toyed with the idea of getting a TikTok. Everybody's been telling me to get a TikTok. I'm like, I don't take a lot of pictures and do a lot of videos.
But I just made something today that TikTok is about to have something specially for artists. So just go ahead and just maybe go ahead and look at it. Getting on TikTok because you just have to be. Listen, you can say whatever you want to say. You can post whatever you want to post. You can use it for another platform, for your music outlet as well. Dance on there to get your sway back. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, Darnell, man, you already know. Oh, hey, spell that. Because sometimes we have two extra E's.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So let them know how to spell that.
Oh, yes. So Darnell, that's Darnell. Junior, that's Junior.
All right, well, Darnell, thank you so much for attending another episode of the Candy Show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
You were so welcome. We've been trying to get this together last month, but hey, it happens, and I greatly appreciate you. Listen, guys, you already know it is time to go. So make sure you are following the official Candy Talk Show page on Instagram. Also, make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube page, and that's capital C and number 2. Candy Productions 2, capital C and the number 2. All right, guys, make sure you like, follow, share, comment. Let's get this out here, okay? Let's get those streams going for Darnell Junior, and that is for his Boy Crazy album that's out right here.
Yes.
All right, guys, bye-bye.